What's going on, gang? Red Channels here. So recently we have seen escalating violence and aggression against ICE agents and ICE facilities by the radical left. And so far, this has culminated in a shooting a couple days ago at an ICE facility in Dallas. It was perpetrated by a man, 29-year-old man named Joshua John, who was shooting at the facility, I believe, killed one person, injured two others, and then took his own life. The interesting part about this, part of what makes it notable, is that instead of actually hitting any of the ICE staff, any of the ICE officers, any of the ICE agents, he ended up actually hitting illegal immigrants who were there at the facility. So this was a left wing attack. I mean, you can't even make this stuff up. A left wing attack on an ICE facility, and they ended up hurting the people they believe that they were going to liberate because apparently this guy Josh's aim was that bad. From Newsweek, ICE Dallas field office shooting suspect Joshua John left behind a series of loose notes that included a game plan and one saying that he hoped to cause immigration enforcement agents real terror, authorities said on Thursday. Nancy E. Larson, the acting U.S. Attorney for the Northern District of Texas, told a press conference that 29-year-old John was, quote, targeting ICE agents and personnel, end quote, who he called, quote, people showing up to collect a dirty paycheck, end quote. John shot himself after killing one detainee and critically wounding two others when he fired indiscriminately at the ICE office on Wednesday, September 24th. Why it matters. Following the shooting, speculation has grown about the suspect's motives. Like we don't already know what they were. Okay. The Trump administration, including Patel, Vice President J.D. Vance, and Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem, have pointed to the bullet casings the police recovered at the scene, which had anti-ICE written on them as evidence it was a politically motivated attack. But family and former friends have reportedly described John as not being overtly political or concerned with ICE, describing him instead as an online provocateur who said things for shock value. I mean, if he was willing to go and do something like this, I think it's pretty clear that if he was a provocateur, it's still obvious where his ultimate political allegiance lie. You know, I've seen a lot of liberals in denial about this. Interestingly enough, they really can't wrap their heads around the fact that they have created a climate such that there are people who want to go out and regularly commit acts of left wing terror. Because really, this is basically the most like deadly confrontation that a liberal has had with an ICE facility. There has been all these sort of different attempts at obstruction and disruption on the part of liberals. I've seen liberals on my own Instagram feed sharing, people I know in real life or knew in real life, sharing how to mess with ICE, how to interfere with ICE, how to disrupt ICE, where ICE will be when. If it's that normalized that people just feel comfortable posting this, then obviously it shouldn't come as a surprise that there are people who are willing to take radical action against what they perceive to be fascist, authoritarian, evil right wing ICE agents. You know, liberals, leftists, progressives have been mobilized all across the country to harangue ICE facilities. I'm not even kidding. I'm sure you've seen this all over X. It really is astounding. And one of my predictions was that basically, unless the left figures out some way to regain formal political power, they will increasingly resort to acts of violence like this. And we've already seen so many. We aren't even done with the first year of the Trump presidency, but there's been multiple incidents like this. You know, all so far pretty much less effective. But there's already been multiple incidents where these deranged leftists have decided to take matters into their own hands, and they're always usually associated with Antifa. That's kind of a common theme running through all these acts of leftist violence. There is usually that common theme of having radical anarcho-communist politics.
Yeah, give it to me. No, but I can take it. Oh, I gotta get lower. So much strength, but I stayed up with this. That's the point, right? I hate everything. I love Nazis. Fucking fascism is great. The brown people bother me.
Sanctuary.
Just got a notification that ICE is literally outside of my community, like down the road a little bit, stopping people, and I've been seeing it all morning that they've been in my area. There's a construction site behind my house. They're building houses, and I go tell them that ICE is literally down the street. I don't know, so they can have time to leave. I don't know. I just need to, and I'll feel better in me. This makes me so sad and anxious that I even have to do this, but I literally jumped out of bed when I saw this, so let's go tell them. Hay migra ahí en la calle ahí. No sé dónde.
Calle de aquí nomás.
Que si, no sé si le quiere decir a la gente.
Okay.
No sé. De nada. He is running to tell these people. Oh, that's such an ugly feeling. My heart. Hola. Disculpa. Pero la migra está allí, en esta calle. Afuera de este, sí. Quería decir para que tengan cuidado. De nada. If you are in like Haines City, Winter Haven, Davenport, all of those areas, please be careful because they are all over 27, I keep seeing. And this is just so sad, like so sad. And the thing is that they are in undercover cars, so it's really hard to like find them or see them right away because they look normal just like everybody. If you see ICE and you have people around you, please just let them know because you don't know if they have papers. If they don't, just let them know. Be a good person. That is someone's father, that is someone's son, that is someone's uncle, someone's family member. Just please let them know.
I just want to see an interview where ICE agents talk about why they love their job. Because they can quit anytime they choose to do this. And I'm just curious, what do you love so much about it? Do you feel fulfilled? Because
today we chased out ICE out of our community for the second time this week. We received a report that there were ICE agents in the Mount Pleasant neighborhood. We dispatched a volunteer to Huron and Regent Street. We were able to identify 4 ICE agents on Huron Street in vehicles, and then we identified 2 more in surrounding streets. We did a lot of patrolling and following them in vehicles. We got more volunteers on the scene to make sure that we could keep this community safe. We had folks door knocking, we had folks patrolling by foot. We also had folks confronting the ICE agents, and they were chased out of the neighborhood successfully. Today's victory just points to the necessity, right, of building more people power and the importance of our Rhode Island defense line. So we do encourage folks to join by becoming an operator or a verifier or joining your neighborhood outreach group because we're trying to build more people power so that we can keep us safe.
The fact that people are doing this is insane. And this should be an arrestable offense for like obstruction of justice or something. Interfering with the process of law and order. These people are actively preventing attempts to end the slow disintegration and destruction of this country. This is unbelievable. And people like this should be in jail for what they do, for attempting to obstruct the duties of ICE agents. It's really mind-boggling. And I mean, we saw some liberals go into denial over the writing that were apparently on Joshua John's bullets, but you just look at the culture of the left, you look at the behavior of the left, and you realize that, one, this almost certainly isn't some sort of psyop. Nothing's being pinned on them. Because Two, they literally are this vicious. You had people celebrating the shooting at the ICE facility in Dallas, really before they knew that Joshua John was a complete failure and had ended up just striking immigrant detainees rather than ICE agents. Yeah, like that's how despicable these people are.
Down from any of these cases. In fact, Homeland Security Secretary tonight on Fox saying they're going to arrest and charge protesters who are assaulting officers. So this is happening in real time, and it is the clash also, Caitlin, of immigration and law and order, two of the main issues of President Trump, all coalescing in this moment as people protest the methods of this administration.
And I also want to show what's happening in Austin. This is what's happening in Dallas. We also have similar scenes that are playing out, protests that are underway in Austin right now. Elliot, when you look at what's happening in Dallas there, I want to go back to that image that we were just showing. Obviously, things seem to be heating up there as you're looking at this scene right now in Dallas where they are clashing with the officers. A lot of people are looking at this, and what I asked to Tom Homan was, is this going to be the new normal going forward in terms of more National Guard being deployed to other cities as well?
Well, and it all depends, quite frankly, Caitlin, on what happens with the legal challenges to this implementation of the National Guard. Now, look, there are circumstances where the president can federalize National Guard. Now, there are obviously...
Get back! Get back! Get back! Get back!
Anyway, as I'm sure many of you are already familiar with, liberals, progressives, and leftists love to play this game, this shell game where they go, Antifa's not an organization, like that really matters. It's a decentralized terror network. How's that for an accurate description? It can and should be banned. All individual Antifa cells present in major cities throughout the U.S. And by the way, in its original form, it was just explicitly this communist organization. None of this liberal hogwash of, oh, what do you mean you have a problem with the people who are calling themselves anti-fascists? Like, no. This movement has its origins in Weimar Germany, and using fascist in the way that they do, they often equivocate capitalism with fascism in a manner that is reminiscent of a Soviet ideological construct. This is literally a movement that had close ties with the Soviet Union, this subversive communist movement. And it continues into this day. It's present in Germany, and it's spread throughout the West, throughout different Western countries. And now it's here in the US, influencing radical left-leaning terror against ICE agents. You know, there are tiers of communists, and Antifa are by far some of the most dangerous and annoying in the world today. I'm enough of a chud Kremlin hater that personally I like the idea of being able to call the secret police on your neighbors if they piss you off. Like if their dog craps in your yard. Ring, ring, Mr. Commissar. My upstairs neighbor has an OnlyFans. That means she's a private business owner, and you need to send her to the gulag. So no, I'd rather live in a Stalinist dictatorship than an Antifa commune. Obviously, I'm kidding, but my point is, with these Antifa freaks, because at least in the sort of Marxist political theoretical sense, the final stage of communism is anarchic, is supposed to be stateless. People are supposed to be totally self-governing, and everything is supposed to be democratized. Socialism is actually supposed to be a transitory phase to communism, but Antifa, being anarcho-communists, these people think you can actually basically skip the steps through direct action. This is why they've been associated with the squatters movement, and then things like Chaz and Chop during like the aftermath of the Floyd riots and stuff like that, right? This is Antifa is communism for stupid punk kids and burnouts, which is one of the reasons they are generally comparatively so vicious and willing to perpetrate harm on other people. But communists and their liberal coadjutors act like these people are valiant rebels against authoritarian tyranny. And I mean, I really think these people are an expression of the impotent rage a lot of liberals feel. You know, they already, on average, have this mentality of being spoiled children, of getting violent, getting angry when things don't go their way. And Antifa cells are merely the most pronounced expression of that anger. And we're going to see more of them in the coming days, in the coming weeks, in the coming months, in the coming years, right? I don't think that the left is going to actually change course until, God willing, they lose 2 or 3 more election cycles. That will be when, if and when they really say, hey, we need to knock this stuff off and recalibrate. Because otherwise, they're going to get violent. They're still going to be pumping out this propaganda of just removing illegal immigrants somehow being fascist tyranny when it's not. And this will serve to radicalize people to take these actions, to act dangerously. And really, the only silver lining in all of this is that most of the time they're all terrible shots. But that is my forecast for the near future in terms of politics, that this sort of behavior is only going to escalate, and the right needs to clamp down on it. Anyways, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Where do you think this culture is headed? How are you feeling about it? And Red Channels will catch you in the next one.
A person like me, smoke green time.